It's exam day. It's like 7 in the morning, although it doesn't look like it because it's stupidly sunny, and I'm about to take the Advanced Placement English test. I really don't want to do this. So this is Marshall. Marshall closed last year because the district is a buttfish, and I'm about to go take a test. Not exciting. 5 hours later, and I'm in a tree. Right, so the way AP testing works is that you get there at early in the morning, and then you sit in a room for a while with a bunch of strangers, and then you take a test for like 3 or 4 hours, depending on the subject. My test was, I believe the first section was 1 hour, and the second section was 2 hours. And then you cross your fingers and hope you didn't fail it. There's no huge consequence if you don't fail it. The only bonus you get for passing it is potentially you get college credit. So hopefully I did okay. Anyway, so I'm back at Benson now after my excruciating test. I'm not a huge fan of English, so taking an English test for 3 hours is not my favorite thing to do at 8 o'clock in the morning. There are people down there, and I think they're staring at me. They're talking to you. Oh, the perils of vlogging outside. I'm constantly worried that I'm going to drop YouTube, and that would be bad. Anyway, and so after the test, we went to Carl's Jr. and then to Best Baguette, and we got some burgers and some bubble tea, which was pretty fun. Me and these two guys. And then we came back to Benson, and my teacher's not here. And that was the bell, so I guess I better go to class now. Right, so the way the AP English Literature test works is that the first section is 60 minutes for about 60 multiple choice questions. I don't remember the exact format because it was like 12 hours ago. Anyway, so normally I get about 45 of those questions right, and if you do the math, it turns out that would translate to a score of 2 on the entire exam. That 2 is on a scale of 5, and normally colleges start accepting credit at 3. This means that by just barely answering the essay questions, I can probably get college credit. I think I did pretty good on the first essay. It was about this poem. It was a sonnet about desire, or something like that, and I wrote a lot. I spent the first half of the essay section working on that poem alone. And I think hopefully my score will reflect that, or at least on that essay. The other 2 I kind of barely answered. My probability distribution of this entire test probably looks like a pretty perfect bell curve, with a very little likelihood that I'm getting a 1, and a very small likelihood that I'm getting a 5, but I'll probably score somewhere in the 3, and there's a fairly good chance that I'll get a 2 or a 4. I actually sometimes like the passages that they choose for these tests, but then they make you dissect them in these ways that just makes them not fun anymore. I think it's technically illegal for me to be discussing these questions, but since everyone's taken the test already, I don't see why it matters. Also, I kind of hate the College Board. Next week I have my AP Government test. That one's going to be even worse than my AP English test. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I'm probably just gonna like draw unicorns and maps. I don't care that much. Luckily, the rest of my day ended up pretty well. I went back to school, and I pretty much stayed there long enough to pick up some of my assignments and to realize that my teacher wasn't there, and to watch some kids do a physics lab. And then me and my best friend came back to my house where we watched the Vlogbrothers.